Hi, welcome to our reading for February 2017. Remember, it's a general reading, so see what feels right for you. See which sign symbols, bells, whistles, messages, energies resonate for you and bring you clarity to what you're wondering, concerned, confused, inquiring, dreaming, praying about. We're all children of God. We're all psychic. We're not all going through the same thing at the same time, at the same pace. So see what feels right for you. It could be one sign, and that brings you clarity. It could be the whole reading. It could make sense later. In the end, always use your logic and intuition together to make sound decisions based in love for the highest, greatest good of everybody. So we're all uplifted in love. See how it feels for you. How you ride these energetic waves that come through here is always up to you. Is it your wave? Is it not your wave? Are you waiting for another wave, preparing for that wave, crashing into the wave, riding the wave, or ignoring the wave? Also, feel free to make this an interactive video if you want to pull some cards for yourself. And if you have some time, try to check out the musical playlist below. See if there's more depth for this reading for you in any of those songs, or just enjoy the music. I love you guys so much. I missed you. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the reading. I'll see you in a moment. Virgo, welcome to our reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for February 2017. Let's begin and see what kind of energy is coming through for Virgo. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, our higher self, angels, and energies of love have for the highest and greatest good of all. Let's get clarity and focus on the energies coming through in February 2017 and wisdom to ride these energies best. Let's get one card, a nice focus and foundation for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, February 2017. Oh my, Virgo, the High Priestess is coming through for Virgo. So, oh, this card's beautiful, and it's so hard to explain. It's so hard to put into words. The cool thing is it comes out a little different every time. Basically, the answer in the end, Virgo, is inside of you. The guidance is inside of you. The truth is inside of you. You know what to reveal. You know what to hold back. You know how much depth is behind every nugget that is revealed. How much experience, you know, how much thought, how much pain, how much bliss, how much of it all had to go into everything to get right here, Virgo, where you are now in this doorway, you know, in these shoes, in this moment that you have. To understand everything the way you do now, with this perception, a new understanding. It's when the veil is lifted, when it feels like it's not velvet anymore. You know, I just heard Black Velvet. That's cool. Virgo gets Black Velvet by ALANNah Myles. I like that song. I like it because it's like a heartbeat. You know, it's also about Elvis, which is as cool. We have a horse named Elvis. I'll put something by Elvis below. All Shook Up is the first thing that came through. So I'll put that below. Just, it's inside of you, you know? It's when you think of a song and you find it comes on the radio. And what does that mean for you? And how many other things happen to you, Virgo? How many signs come through you a day? You know, do you pay attention? I'm sure you do, Virgo. I'm sure you pay attention. But, you know, are you really paying attention? Is there synchronicities in categories for you? If that makes sense. You know, do you always hear the same kind of things? Do you always see the same kind of animals? Do messages tend to come through the same way for you? Sometimes we get used to something and then something else starts to break through and open up, and it's a new adjustment coming through. You know, sometimes we don't understand what's happening at all. Sometimes, you know, you are completely alone to figure it out on your own. Sometimes it's just all about you, Virgo, and your experience. Sometimes we're blessed and we have others around us who perhaps didn't have the same experience. Perhaps they did. Maybe they were next to us or saw something similar, but it's never the same experience, the same exact, you know, perception. So it's coming back to your shoes. It's also helping others. It's knowing when you have those insights that are helpful for others. You don't always understand why, or Virgo, even if they actually ever are. You know, a lot of this stuff feels like it's, it's very unsure until you start putting some substance into it and you do something weird like maybe videos or write it down, make a journal, you know, something so you can see how often it happens. Even if it's just having oracle cards. You know, it started with me noticing that I just happen to like different decks. I like pictures, you know, it's like a different little scenario coming through, and I tended to, before I even knew, I actually collected cards years, Virgo, before I ever tried to read them, which is really weird because I always sort of didn't know what to think of them. And I sort of gravitated towards them and had an interest, but never really got into it till years later. So, where was I going with that? It's your own, so with the different decks, what I started to notice was if you pull a card in one deck and you're like, if you want to brush it aside, that's just chance. That's just this. And you're learning and you're getting used to trusting those signs that come through and trusting the flow that comes through you, right? Then when you have that other deck and you pull the same card, it's just like, or you shuffle it a bunch of times and you just pull the same card again. And you do it and you do it again. And if you took that to Vegas, it would win enormous amounts in numbers, but it doesn't work like that. That's why it works, because it's not for show. It's not a parlor trick. And it's a real spiritual connection that brings real healing inside yourself, inside your world, to heal your perception upon something, to understand something you went through, this life, other lives, where you're going, the shoes you're stepping into, who you're supposed to be now. Because in the end, it all comes back to who you are now. This is the chance you have now to become what you're supposed to be. And when you pull that healing energy back through, you also, in turn, circulate it out there. Because it's just a natural flow. It's a natural healing. It's a natural season that comes through. You know, once that flower blossoms and you can smell its essence goes out and it's healing. It's like, it makes me think of like awesome perfume, Virgo, and like a memory. You know, somebody can walk by you and have like the cologne that your ex wore in junior high, like, you know, that cheap cologne or perfume, and you smell it and you're just like, oh, you know, you're right back to that junior high dance. Or, you know, it could be something like really meaningful to you. It could be a smell like in a kitchen or something like that. And it, you know, you go somewhere, it takes you right back to grandma's kitchen. You know, it's a memory, it's a feeling, it's a whole scenario that you're right back in. Your body feels like you're there again. So when those things come through and those memories come through, it's taking time to see what's coming through for you and what it means, what adjustment it's bringing into your now, you know? So when you pull things from the ether and it's no longer behind the velvet curtain, and it's now this, you know, this beautiful chiffon, silk, satin thing that you can even pull away if you want to. But remember, with the High Priestess, there's a big-ass ocean. There's a universe. There's so much depth back there going on that you have to bring it back to some kind of center point. You got to listen to your gut. You know, you got to go with your gut. You got to use your instincts and your intuition all together. Your right brain, your left brain, your feminine side, your masculine side has to all work together. You're connecting heaven and earth here. You know, it's the doorway between. So sometimes the doorway between can get confusing if you get stuck in the rotating door too much. Or, you know, you got thrown out into one world and you forgot how to hit stop or to get back into the, I'm getting the rotating door, but I feel like it stops once you enter, if that makes sense. Like, it's like your energy is what calms it, like the eye of the storm. But you need to calm that energy and get inside that center of you and, you know, start the rotation, stop the rotation, or get that rotation going and still be centered and focused no matter what's going on around you. Usually this is a way through somewhere, something that was confusing, Virgo, perhaps in the past. You didn't understand how to do something. There's a big old moon here. So, you know, maybe something around the full moon. I'm getting like the knowing thing, you know, the thing you can't explain. You just know. I don't know how you know, but you know, and you know you should go with that knowing, that gut feeling, that thing, because you know when you don't go with that no, that's when you regret it. So when you have that feeling, just go with it. Whatever it is, to go in, to not go in, to leave something behind, to do something a different way. Follow what feels right for you. Even if insights come a different way. This could be somebody else around you. You really trust, a really, you know, teacher around you, someone that you feel like connected to, like your kin, like spiritually connected to. And I want to say like your souls learn together, like a soul contract energy. I feel like if a teacher, like when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Or when the teacher is ready for that particular student that finds. It's like finding the right pet. Sometimes I feel like the pet finds you more than you, you know. It's like you got the urge at the right time when the right pet was available, whether it's an adoption or like a puppy or a kitten or something like that. So it's following that instinct and just know to go to, I don't know, online and check something out or go to the shelter that day. And that's the day you find it because you follow that thing, you know? That's the day you discover your new best friend, you know? That person that you let into that deep, dark part in you that takes a secret, you know, the lock and key to get in there. You don't just give that away to everybody. It's, what does this say? This actually says something on the book, Virgo. It says, darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery. Like layers. It makes me think of, Virgo, 6 Underground by Sneaker Pimps. I'll put that below. I don't know why. But she's very gentle. She's very sexy. She's very confident. She's very quiet. I sort of like the phrase, I'm thinking of the phrase in, I think it's the Steampunk Tarot. And they all have like a little saying, and it says something like, you know, it has this really sexy little, like, sort of like her, but she's a little more steampunk-like, and she has this look on her face, and there's a crystal ball here, and, like, the saying says, it's like somebody went in to see the fortune teller or whatever, and then they come out and talk to their friend, and the friend's like, how was it? And the guy's like, I don't know, the girl seemed batty as anything, she didn't say a damn word. It's like you went in there to get his fortune read and she just didn't say a thing to him. Like, can you imagine paying for your fortune and you go in and she's just like, you know, and in the end, that's it. It's all up to you. It's your interpretation. It's how you take your lesson. It's how you take that thing that comes through. So, you know, sometimes there was power in the silence. What song did I just think of? I just thought of a song, Enjoy the Silence. I'll put that below at the end of that song. There's just a lot of silence. It also makes me think of, Virgo, like the hidden song when you used to buy a CD and then you let that like the CD go on and then you realize like 20 minutes later this song comes through, like a secret comes through, but you had to have patience to hear it, you know, to read in between those lines to get that secret like Easter egg coming through. So look for that little thing coming through, you know, something opening up to you, Virgo. It will feel special, valuable, unique, and like it's right for you, like it was meant for you, Virgo. I also see a journal, so maybe you need to write down how much, you know, happens to you, synchronicities, don't know, maybe even just your thoughts, you know, so you can see it on paper and reevaluate it a different way than it all being jumbled in your head all the time. Because sometimes it, you know, sometimes it's just easy to forget. Sometimes, you know, interesting things start to happen so often it just becomes normal. So it actually loses its brilliance until something weird or even bigger happens. So remember how interesting even the small, brilliant miracles are, Virgo. All right, let's get another card. Clarity on 2, Major Arcana 2, major doorway, gateway, way through, path through. It's being quiet. It's being in tune with yourself. It's trusting your own discernment on what is bullshit and what is right. You know, sometimes there's a whole lot of stuff to sift through to grab the nuggets of wisdom, you know? And I see like somebody clam digging. You know, you have to get through all the muck to get to the clams. Or like pearl diving, you know. You have to dive down into the water and go get it. I just saw a headlight, like a really fancy headlight. So you can still use, everybody should have a good headlight, in my opinion. So you can always use your hands, you know, and you don't have to rely on someone else around you to hold the flashlight correctly when you're moving around. All right, that was sort of weird. I just look at her. She looks like she has a headlight on, right? That looks like me. I've totally had a headlight on before. Oh God. I've had a headlight on before. Now, mind you, this was not like putting on a headlight, getting in my car, driving in the car, and going in the store. This is when I lived in New York City. And like I had a headlight on for something. And then I just totally walking down the street, went to like Dwayne Reed or CVS or something. Didn't notice until I walked by like the refrigerators. Have my headlight on in the store. I think if it was, you know, oh, I don't know where that came from. All right, let's move along before I go down weird memory lane with you guys. By the way, Virgo, I am also a Virgo sun. So let's continue. Let's get another card for Virgos. Let's see what's coming through. I also have a sister that has a Virgo rising. So they do come through different, the Virgo rising and the Virgo sun. It's interesting. All right, let's get another, and the moon. It'd be interesting, you know, if you know someone who has a Virgo something else, how that Virgo plays out, you know, in their personality, in their world and whatever. If you know someone else that's a Virgo, but maybe they didn't know they were a Virgo rising or a Virgo moon, and you find that out, maybe there's, you know, you can sort of see how that merges in your world with someone who's close to you and has experiences that are similar but not the same. I feel like you're opening up to somebody about experiences, Virgo. But you're comfortable with it because you know when you should shut down and not say anything. Or here, it's knowing, you know, when it's too much for somebody too. Sometimes it's too much, you know, and that's not, people are not in that world. They just want to go to work. They don't want to get into any kind of weird things about that just doesn't happen in their world. They're not ready for it. And sometimes you can't push that on someone. So you'll know when that feels pushy or not right, or it's like freaking someone out a little bit, and just back up and maybe just, you know, just a little nugget, something to get them interested. Sometimes people just are interested, but they don't exactly know how to take it from that source. So sometimes they get interested and figure it out on their own. They do a little research on their own, or they talk to someone else who had that experience too, and they're like, oh, that's not so weird. All right, like, all right, what is that again? And they come back. So just, you know, let something go. If it's ready, it'll come to you. It'll be curious, you know. All right, let's get another card for Virgo. Virgo. And the King of Air is coming through. So that's thinking clearly. This could be you. You could have a lot of air in your chart. You know, if you have like Aquarius, Gemini, Libra energy, this could be a male or female, but I get a very powerful male energy. You know, that like, get it done, make it happen. Slightly detached. This came through for someone else. I've done a bunch of readings now. I'm not sure who it was. I'm not sure. So if it's not coming through, it's not coming through. But I feel like it's a similar energy where this king might open up in the bedroom, in a nook, with his friends, with the right person. You know, maybe not in general. I don't feel like this knight, or this king, I almost said knight, this king, like, generally goes out and talks about too much of the other side of the veil out there. Usually this is the logical king. They want to understand what is going on. They want the details. They make the plans. They can see in the future because they see the bigger picture in something. So maybe they do have things that come through, but they don't know how to make sense of it. Maybe that's you coming through, Virgo. Maybe you're putting some logic to something that is just illogical. Normally, but it makes sense to you, or you have a way of getting through that you can put some sense to something maybe happening to this person, or this person could be coming in your world. You know, air sign. Doesn't have to be, though. Just someone who's really good at planning. Gets the job done, gets to a solution, has the right connections. I feel like he or she always has the right connections. Who to call. You know, if they don't know what to do, they know who to call that does. Brilliant, impartial, professional, diplomatic. I hear cold, but I don't feel like they're always cold. I think they're just business-like. In general, they just want to get shit done. They don't want to get wrapped up in the drama too much. You know, they don't want to, if they have to go in and see what's going on, they'll go in and figure it out, clean something up, but they don't want to stick around. You know, once it's cleaned up, they're off. Or they have people that I get like, I'm getting like a director. Like if they don't want to do it themselves, they know who to call. And they know that somebody else might do it better than them. They don't always have to be the big show. You know, it doesn't always have to be their way. If someone else actually does it better, they're more logical and they know that person's better to call, you know, even though you can, you know, in certain areas. I'm getting like different professors or something like that. Like if you always go to a professor for advice on English, you know, but then you go there and this English professor knows the right science professor that you should be working with for your specific thing. Even if it's an English project, maybe it requires something in the science department. I'm just, you know, like something like that. I'm getting like he knows which department to get you to, even if it's not his department or her department. I'm getting like a teacher, maybe even like business. I see an office, I see a school, like a college, corporation even. Somebody who can handle different energies that come through, different problems that come through, and know where to send them. You know, they don't have to sit on that problem in the office for a long time. They just send them along their way, you know, for someone else to deal with or someone else to help or whatever. But they're still the go-to guy. You know, this is the go-to guy, Virgo. So this guy could help you out. This guy could have some news or help for you to get you to the right department on something. I feel like you like, I'm getting like opposite energies. Like you match wit. Like you're quick together, quick thinkers together. You know, you change subjects like together. So I feel like if this king is sending people away or doing something or organizing something around, it might be to keep you in the room. It's kind of what I'm getting. Like, you're way more interesting than anything else he's seen in a long time. And perhaps he's moving stuff around to figure more out with you because this stuff's way more interesting than that boring stuff he was always, you know, having to focus on. It's like, it's still expanding his mind, but in a totally different way. I'm getting that he sort of likes to be around you, or it's a nice exchange of energy back and forth across different platforms. You know, maybe back to, you know, I'm getting like behind the veil and back here. You know, almost like a devil's advocate, you know, to you. But that keeps you on your toes. and keeps this one a little open-minded. Maybe both of you on your toes here. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice. That could also be the High Priestess, but that's, you know, using your logic to know what's good for you and what's just a waste of your time, you know? I'm getting that you don't want to waste your time with something. If you're going in the dark on something, it has to be something you're really into, you know, deep for you. Otherwise, you're not diving deep, Virgo. Or I don't think this guy wants to dive deep into something not interesting or not worth his or her time either. So balance mental and emotional considerations. So make sure you're not too stuck in your head or too stuck behind the veil, you know, or getting too emotional on something. Keep it all balanced. The High Priestess is pretty good at the balance thing. But don't get too sucked into the you know, the like, I'm getting the, I heard like scrimmage or like the going back and forth, the right and the wrong, the saying the same things two different ways, the debating, there we go. And don't get too wrapped up in being emotional about something that you care about too. You know, bring it back to neutral here. She's pretty neutral. She's pretty powerful. And so is the King of Air. You know, maybe there's just a balance coming through here somewhere. Let's get one more card for Virgo. Clarity for February on the King of Air and the High Priestess. For February 2017, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And we have the Woodpecker. That's cool. That makes me think of rhythm. That's like the heartbeat with the song. Like, you know what I think of as well? The Strokes' Reptilia. I like the rhythm in that song. And I just heard As the Rush Comes by Motorcycle. That was sort of different things that pop through out of nowhere. Sometimes I look in the playlist later and then I look and I see that whatever song popped up out of nowhere has something to do with something I said somewhere in the reading, and I just didn't notice it when it popped up. But it's later when I look that I find the connections with the playlists and such. Sometimes it's in the like the lyrics, and sometimes it's the I don't know, sometimes it's the video or it's the connection I find. So 38 Woodpecker makes, oh, I like, they just stand out. It makes me think of a newspaper getting news. You know, that corny joke, like, what is black and white and red all over? A newspaper. I'm so corny. So, you know, it's like news coming through. The rhythm of something, you know. It also makes me think of carving. Taking something that was whole and working away at something until it becomes beautiful and becomes something different. It's like the reverse way of creating something. Instead of building a house or something from scratch where, you know, it goes one piece on one piece on one piece, you do the opposite. So you have to almost like imagine something inside of something else and then get to it. All right, so let's see what 38 is for Virgo. Woodpecker, I am Woodpecker, the rhythm of the ancients and the heartbeat of the earth. I am drummer. I am the percussion of life. I am the one who digs deep and finds the secrets hidden within. I am in tune with the world and allow my echoes to lead me to the hearts of others. I can dredge up those things forgotten. I can call out that which hides. Ooh, that could be this guy too. He can call out. I want to say he could be totally cold and turned off by certain things and just not go there at times. Like shut something down is what I get on his reverse. But I feel like that's not you, Virgo. I feel like you're more like opening up something there. Know that everything has a time, a beat of its own. Know that there are always more layers beneath the surface. I have come to change the pace and alert you to something new on the horizon. Align yourself now with what needs to be rather than what has fallen out of sync. Look where your heart pulls you and let it play out. Find the new beat of your life. There is great power in realignment. You are captivating sound. You are energy of vibration. You are connection. You are woodpecker. I just heard American Girl by Lenny Kravitz at the end of that. That was weird. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you soon.